For over a century, conspiracy theorists have pushed the idea of Jewish Bolshevism, the notion that Jews masterminded and controlled the Russian Revolution. The reality is less dramatic and far more revealing. Bolshevism was never Jewish, it was literate and urban. The myth survives because anti-Semitism loves a scapegoat. The numbers kill it dead. The Jews of the Russian Empire. In 1897, Jews made up about 4 to 5% of the Russian Empire's population. Concentrated mostly in the Pale of Settlement, they were a small minority in a vast peasant empire, but one key factor set them apart: literacy, the literacy gap. In 1897, census shows that Jewish male literacy was dramatically 70 versus 25%, higher than the Russian average. Even Jewish women who lagged behind men read and wrote at rates well above peasant women and men alike. Joe Perlman's reanalysis of the 1897 census affirms the gap. Jewish literacy rates for men were double or triple those of surrounding peasants. In some towns, Jewish boys were learning Hebrew, Russian, and arithmetic, while nearby villages couldn't even read a newspaper. The gap explains why Jews were visible in professions that required reading, and why they appeared in revolutionary movements that depended on pamphlets, newspapers, and manifestos. Overrepresentation, skill versus conspiracy. By the late 19th century, Jews were conspicuously present in medicine, law, publishing, and education. In many fields, they accounted for 10 to 15% of practitioners, far above their share of the population. This visibility later fueled paranoid myths, most infamously under Stalin. In the early 1950s, the so-called doctor's plot accused many Jewish physicians of conspiring to poison Soviet leaders. It was not because such a conspiracy existed, but precisely because Jews had become so visible in medicine. Stalin's anti-Semitism found a ready-made scapegoat. The lesson is simple: Jews were overrepresented in skills, not in plots. The Bolshevik Party in context. Yes, Jews were present in Bolshevik ranks, but they were never a majority, never dominant, and always surrounded by Russians and other nationalities. Trotsky was famous, but Stalin a Georgian, Lenin Russian, Dzerzhinsky was Polish, Mikoyan was Armenian, and others made Bolshevism a multinational project. If Jews owned Bolshevism at 5 to 10%, then by the same math, Georgians owned the USSR through Stalin. It's a bad argument built on cherry picking. Georgians, Stalin, Orджоникидзе, and Beria, Mikoyan, Shaumian, and others at the highest levels. If Jews made Bolshevism Jewish, then by the same logic, the terror police were Latvian and the party elite were Georgian Armenian. The myth collapses under its own absurdity. Why Jews were visible? Answer simple: selection bias. Revolutionary parties recruited the literate, urban, and politically engaged. Jews happened to fill that bill better than most of the empire's peasants. They were visible because they could read, write, and organize. Illiteracy saw literacy and called it conspiracy. Conclusion: myth versus history. Bolshevism was not Jewish, any more than it was Latvian or Georgian. It was a violent response to a collapsing empire, built by whoever had the skills and nerve to seize the moment. Blaming Jews for Bolshevism is like blaming Latvians for the Cheka. It reveals nothing about history and everything about prejudice. So like and subscribe. So remember to do that, like and subscribe, because you have my professional reassurance that your life is going to be better if you do it. Guaranteed. Yep, everything's going to be good. Like and subscribe. But you got to do it. To do it, go do it. So like and subscribe. Like and subscribe this. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe it. Like and subscribe.